Hey guys, welcome back to another Warframe video where today we are going to be talking about how to massacre Exterminate missions. Now this video comes off the back of me doing quite a few Void Fissure Exterminate missions where I have been opening relics, and players in game have asked me how I have managed to get to extraction so quickly and picked up pretty much every single kill along the way. So I'm going to be running through two builds in this video which are already well known to the community, but I thought I'd get them on my channel just so, you know, they're there. And I can say that I have made a video on them if anyone asks again. And those are going to be Titania, utilising Thermal Sunder, and also Vault, utilising the Kuva Ogris, or really any explosive weapon with AoE damage that you want to use, such as the Kuva Brahma or the Kuva Tsar. They all work. So yeah, we're going to run through both of these. I just want to point out right now that if you are the kind of person who doesn't like to, you know, speedrun missions and prefers to play Warframe a bit more casually and, you know, experience everything the game has to offer from frames through to weapons and also melee combos and all of that good stuff, then this video probably isn't for you. This is really for people who, like those who ask me in Void Fissure missions how I'm completing things so quickly, want to get faster at completing missions. And indeed, for opening relics, you do want to be doing them fairly quickly so that you can open as many as possible, especially if you are farming platinum from sets or just individual parts, or you're farming ducats, anything like that. You're going to want to be opening these as fast as possible. And I understand that a lot of players can get frustrated sometimes sitting at extraction and waiting 2 to 3 minutes for players to extract with them, but that is something that just comes with public playing, right? You have to be prepared for that. I totally get the frustration, but at the same time you kind of have to accept it. So we are going to be running through both of these builds, so let's take a look at Titania to begin with, and then what we'll do is we will do a run through of Adaro on Sedna, which is generally probably one of the hardest Exterminate missions on the Origin system non-Steel Path star chart. Bear in mind that neither of these builds will really work out very well for you on Steel Path. The Vault build might do. You could maybe swap your weapon around a bit using the Torrid Incarnon. That's a good example of a weapon that would deal out some seriously good damage on Steel Path. But either way, you won't be able to do it as quickly. So yeah, let's just quickly focus on this now. So we've got ourselves one Asia Archon Shard with Energy Max. This probably isn't necessary and is more there just for safety reasons and to make me have, you know, peace of mind when I'm playing. I'm not going to run out of energy. Weapons do not matter at all on this build. I am running Zanuric here with Energy Pulse for extra energy on pickup, and also Inner Might for a couple of free abilities whilst we are moving around. But that's basically it. None of these other ones are really going to give us any advantage, to be honest. Unairu you could run for Poise, but to be honest, coming in and out of Operator using Titania's 4th ability is kind of a hassle, and it does slow you down a bit. So I'm going to leave that be for now and just hopefully rely on my flying skills. We'll see how that goes. And then on our Titania itself, we have got ourselves a pretty, basic build here. In fact, I have just formatted this, so I was going to throw on Corrosive Projection over Steel Charge for this particular one. The reason I had Steel Charge on was for extra capacity, but I've swapped out some mods and lowered my strength slightly as I found out that I didn't need such a high strength when I was using Archon Vitality. So let's kind of just go through how this is working. You can see here we have Thermal Sunder on our 3rd ability, which is going to be doing heat damage. Combined with Archon Vitality, it's going to apply 2 heat status procs, which are going to just tick enemies down very quickly and kill them. We then have Energize on. This isn't completely necessary, but again, it's one of those things that's going to provide me with peace of mind. I understand that it is a very expensive bit of kit. If you can get your hands on it, I would recommend doing so, but if not, then, you know, you may find yourself running out of energy sort of 3/4 of the way through the mission. It's not a big deal, and you could probably keep your energy pool up if you were just a bit more careful, but this just allows me to blitz through missions and not have to worry about my energy. Arcane Nullifier, for those missions where you have pesky sensor bars that are going to give you a magnetic proc and just annihilate your energy pool. That's what that's there for. You could swap this out for something like Molt Augmented if you wanted, for some extra ability strength if you were struggling to kill enemies. Rest of the build, like I said, make sure you got a decent amount of range, strength around neutral, duration and efficiency to maximum really. As long as your duration's over 100% just and your efficiency is at max, the drain from your Razor Wing will be at minimum and you will be able to use Thermal Sunder a lot more. So something to bear in mind as we go through this. But yeah, so that's the Titania build. Let's hop into Adaro on Sedna and just test out this build and see how fast we can do an Exterminate mission. Alright guys, so we'll hop into our fourth ability here. It's worth noting that you can just do this with Gauze if you don't have access to Titania, or Gauss, however you want to pronounce it. But yeah, we're basically just going to kind of fly our way through. Now considering that we have Razor Wing Blitz on, our movement speed is going to increase substantially. So I am only going to be using my sprint boost when I'm in a nice open spot, like this, and I can just kind of give myself a little shift forwards. But yeah, basically we can just continue to fly around here, setting things on fire as we go. Don't worry about killing every enemy as well. It's worth noting that obviously if you happen to miss some enemies that are out of range or maybe have a bit more armor like Eximus units, they're not going to be, you know, the last enemy that you have to kill. There'll be plenty of enemies around that you can annihilate. There we go, so now we can get out. So let's see how fast we manage to do that. 1 minute and 13 seconds for that whole Exterminate mission, which was between level 20 and level 30. You're probably wondering why I'm ranking this up. It is because I did put an Aura Former on, which I was meaning to do anyway. And if you've already formed it, it doesn't really make a difference at the moment to your abilities, which is very nice. I like the fact that the devs did that. One thing to note, just before we move on to the Vault build, is if you come into your options right here, what you need to do to make this work is under gameplay, where it says invert tap/hold abilities, you want to make sure that Gauze's ability is inverted, as if you don't do that, you will end up with the cold proc rather than the heat proc, and you will do far less damage. So make sure that this is inverted. Alright guys, so onto our trusty Vault speed build here. Now right off the bat, for those of you who have seen this before, it's complete overkill. You do not need anywhere near the level of gear that I am going to be showing off on this build, so bear that in mind. However, we do have 5 Tau Forged shards here, 3 Crimson on ability strength, 1 Tau Forged on casting speed, and 1 Tau Forged on armor. So just to start with, that's something to note. And then on our build, we also have 2 Umbral Former. Again, so overkill. Vault's just my go-to frame usually for a lot of things, eidolon hunting being the key one. So I have invested quite a lot into him. If you don't want to put any Umbral Former on this, then, you know, just keep maybe Umbral Intensify on and just put normal Vitality on with perhaps something like Prime Continuity. That should be fine. Or even just, yeah, some more strength, that would also be fine. Molt Vigor here for some extra ability strength on Operator Cast. That's going to allow us to move faster. Our strength is up at 376%. It's very high with a decent duration as well. And our efficiency is just slipping under 100%. But since we're only going to be using our second, you know, maybe our fourth as well, depending on the level of enemies we are against, it's not going to come down to all that much. And Shock Trooper is also providing us with additional damage as well. This build could probably carry you through Steel Path. However, you know, it's super, super intense investment, and I would not recommend it. Only if you're going to be like seriously using Vault a lot would I recommend going this hard on maxing him out. And then on our Kuva Ogris right here, we have ourselves a general AoE build with sniper ammo mutation here, just to make sure we don't run out of ammo as we go. Heavy caliber to disperse rockets over a wider area, that's important to note. Your negative accuracy is going to allow you to get a greater AoE from your Ogris or whatever explosive AoE weapon you might be happening to use. And then we also have Nightwatch Napalm on here. Now this I would usually only use for defense. However, I have found it very useful in Exterminate. If you do run past a group of enemies and you happen to leave a few alive, generally speaking, the enemies will kind of walk towards you or run towards you, and more often than not, they will just run straight through one of these napalm drops and just die from that. So it does help in that regard. Everything else geared towards whatever element you want to be running, but for the most part, this again is kind of overkill, and you do not need anywhere near the gear that I have got on here. It could even be forward once more, and you could max out primed fast hands, but with Vault, second ability, the reload speed on this is just fine. We then also have Unairu on here. The other 2 weapons we are not going to be using, but Unairu is going to provide us with poise, which is very important if you do not have access to primed sure-footed, as it is going to prevent you from being knocked back by any explosive weapon that you are happening to use. So that is the only other thing that we are going to mention on this build. So let's once again hop into Adaro on Sedna and see what kind of time we can get with our Vault here. Alright guys, here we go. So we'll go in and out of operator to proc poise. And we'll get to work just blowing enemies up. I'm not actually going to be looking at where I'm going all that much in this run. I'm more looking at the map and where the enemies are located. And then I'm just firing rockets in that general direction. You can very easily get stuck on terrain with Volt, which is a bit of an issue, but, you know, as long as you're a bit careful, you should be fine. Well, you saw right there, I wasn't paying attention and we lost our poise, which has slowed us down quite a bit. And now I'm stuck. Not a completely clean run, but we should still have a relatively fast time here, I think. 1 minute and 40, yeah, much slower, but you saw we bumped into a lot of objects during that run and it generally wasn't that clean. Can be much faster, I generally go faster than that, but yeah. Still, two very good methods of doing Exterminate missions, so let's just quickly round out the video, guys. Alright guys, so hopefully you found this video at the very least informative, and for those of you who perhaps hadn't seen those builds before or how they're used, this has given you a bit of an insight into that, for you to be able to complete those relic missions all that a little bit faster. So yeah, if you did enjoy the video guys, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any recommendations for other tips and tricks, or any other guide videos you'd like to see, do let me know. I do have a list of ones that I am just currently going through, but I would like to add to them just for peace of mind, and you know, whenever I decide to take holidays and whatever, I have videos available to upload in my absence, and just to keep a general constant flow of content going out. So yeah, if you do want to see anything, do let me know down in the comments. If you have any questions or anything like that, leave them down there as well. Otherwise guys, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one guys. I'll see you later.